girl. Hello. Okay, let's see here.
Hello.
Pin comment. There we go. Hi, friends.
Oh my gosh, I'm looking at so many different cute French bulldogs on Instagram right now. How can we compete?
There's so many French bulldogs you could be looking at right now.
With his paws? Oh, it's amazing.
It's ridiculous.
It's amazing.
Let me just...
Love.
Boop.
Yeah.
There we are. Just to richen up your picture a little better.
Oh, thank you. Do you have the beauty guard on?
We don't need that. We don't need such filters.
It's a guard against my beauty because it's too much.
Yes.
Oh, that's not the...
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to your very favorite source for voter registration and election information, as well as chats with your favorite notable nerds. This is Between Two Nerds with myself, JP Karliak.
And me, Courtenay Taylor.
And we are very excited for an awesome guest that we have tonight, hilarious comedian, but I know he's running just a hair late. So we have a lot to talk about anyway. First of all, if you haven't filled out your census yet, click the link or visit the address that we put in the comment. The census is only going on for a little bit longer, and it is important because the resources that your community receives is based upon the census and the count that it gets. So you want to make sure that your community gets those dollars. And also, if you are a member of the BIPOC communities or the queer community, because they do, though they don't count us as people, they count our partner. They count they count our marriages. So, yeah, I know.
Wait, what? They don't count you as people?
Well, we can't indicate, we can indicate if we're married, but we can't indicate like
if you're gay.
Right, which used to be on the Obama. Anyway, it's a long thing, but anyway, there are things.
Who's taking that away?
I can't imagine. Yeah, but anyway, it is good to make sure that whatever communities you belong to, whatever identities you have, that you are counted in the census. So be sure to fill that out, in addition to registering to vote and all that stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah,
he said good.
That type of thing.
2020.gov. I did mine early.
Yeah. As soon as I got mine in the mail, because it's only 5 questions. It's really not that deep. Mm-hmm. Especially if you're by yourself and you don't have any dependents or other people in the house, then easy. Yeah. Very quick.
Speaking of dependents, let me just go shut my fat bulldog into the room because she's going to come out here and take a nap. Hold on.
She will do that.
JP,
tap dance. Yeah. So, show of hands, who, let's see. David, we would love to have Rebecca Sugar back on. We'd love to. And hopefully we will at some point.
And you will hear it because we will announce the hell out of it. You know we will.
Oh, so, yeah. That's not a secret one keeps.
Yeah. Don't worry that you're going to miss it. You don't have to ask all the time because we will. You will hear about it. Let me tell you.
You'll be the first to know. Well, I mean, you will be among the first to know.
Yes. So, show of hands, is anybody having any trouble registering to vote at this point?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything because...
Or anything that you're unclear on? I've registered, but I don't know my polling place or any of that stuff.
Or you can ask JP anything.
Just AMA. Who wants to be in cold weather?
Well, here in LA, it's actually kind of chilly now because the ash layer has blocked out the sun.
This is chilly for you?
Yes.
I am dying.
Really? Oh my God. It's because we're right next to the gender reveal fire, so that ash is just hovering above us, and there's no sign of the sun. Thanks, dumb people who did their gender reveal party in Angela's forest with explosives.
And here's your daily hot take, children. Not to get all political, but if you need to tell everybody in your lives what genitals your kids have, seek therapy. Like, it's not important. And as a matter of fact, it is the only person that should be revealing their gender at a party is your kids themselves when they've decided what their gender is. So, yeah, get rid of the frickin' pink and blue cakes and cut it. Because also, pink and blue belongs to everybody.
Yes, but also here's another thing. There was actually another guy who did the same kind of thing in 2018, I think it was.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Dennis somebody with a D, and he had a kid who literally is never going to go to college because his parents are paying back $8 million in damages. $8 million in monthly installments.
Yep.
So who cares what the gender of your kid is if they can't go to college?
Yep. Because you needed
the more important thing, so.
You needed to reveal the genitals of your child using fireworks. But that's what it is. That's what it boils down to.
I like that word. Also, I want to know who makes these words up because any of those words don't sound good to me. How come they can't be like pudding? I can't. Well, we're not going to get into this.
I have zero comment about that.
Okay.
They do need to be...
Vault 428 is like, they need to be arrested for arson. Take them down. Ghillie suits on.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I fully agree. That is... Look, if you want to receive a Darwin Award for your own mishaps, go with God. But please, be mindful of everybody else around you.
Acres with you.
Yeah. Do it privately.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hello, KH Dallas and Pala Visastri.
Welcome. You are on Between Two Nerds. Do we have any callers? Any questions? We are waiting on our very special guest. He will be joining us very shortly.
If you haven't filled out your census yet, please fill out your census. Yes, it is dry AF here. And I can tell you that because it was 117 degrees at my house, no lie, and my air conditioning blew.
Ugh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was down in Long Beach and it was still well over 100.
Yeah. Fire and 117 degrees, and I had my windows open.
Yeah.
Otherwise I was going to die.
Amen, Vault 428.
Exactly
Amen.
what Vault said.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that. Absolutely that.
So what else?
What other news do we have? What was that? So we were compiling that list yesterday of like the order of operations. So help me to see if I can remember what this is. So first of all, election stuff is changing every day as to how you should do it. And this is sort of like what we've come up as the more or less foolproof way to go about this. First of all, if your state/locality offers early voting in person, do that. Just do it. More than likely, because it's early voting and it usually lasts about a week, you'll have plenty, there will be very little lines, very little crowd, lots of social distancing, plenty of safety. So if you are able-bodied and have health that allows for you to be able to go to vote in person without risking too much, do that early. Otherwise, vote in person if your locality does not have early voting.
Yes, the day of.
Yeah, the day of, on election day. Pack a lunch, pack a snack, pack a magazine, pack whatever you need to stand in line for however long it takes. What?
Let's make a plan right now, guys. Just take out your phones right now, and on November 3rd, give yourself a little reminder that if you're going to go vote, there's going to definitely be lines. So make sure you bring your charger, because that's the one thing, that and a sweatshirt are going to be the one thing that keeps you from staying in line, is if your phone runs out, you're going to lose your mind. And if you're chilly.
Yep. So there's that. Those are the in-person options. Now, if you cannot, for whatever reason, go in person, no shame, all good. Then make sure that, excuse me, you are registered for an absentee ballot. Ooh, Ash, hooray. Make sure you're registered to receive an absentee ballot. Register for that right now. Right now. If you're not registered to receive one, come back to this stream later. Register for that right now.
Where would you go for that, JP?
I would go to, what is our bit.ly for that? It is, bit.ly/nerds@home.
All lowercase.
All lowercase. bit.ly/nerds@home. All lowercase. And that will take you to the headcount platform where you can make sure that you are able to get an absentee ballot no matter what state you're in. There's info for all of them. So do that. And as soon as you research your candidates and issues now. All of the stuff that's supposed to be on the ballot is locked in. The info is out there. Ballotready.org is a great place to start. So that as soon as you receive that ballot, thank you, Ivy, for posting. Ivy posted in the chat that thing we need. As soon as you receive it, fill it out, double check it, make sure your signature is correct because you have to sign the outside. So if you've had to sign your driver's license or sign the back of your credit card or something like that, just make sure it looks like that because they get really sticklery about your matching credit card. It's matching signatures. So if you're somebody that has a fabulous different signature every time, good for you. But this time, make sure
It's your personality that signed your driver's license and channel it for this as well.
Yes. And send it back immediately because no matter how far in advance you receive it, you want to make sure that the Postal Service, which is in a little bit of flux right now, is able to get it to the right place. If there are drop-off boxes in your area, see if those exist and drop it off there instead of mailing it because those are safer, at least in making sure that your ballot gets to the right place at the right time. And barring...
And if you're like me, true story, if you had your mail-in ballot and you did not prepare, even though you know how important this election is, this is from a long time ago that it wasn't as important, but that you take your mail-in ballot and if for some reason you realize at 5 o'clock, oh my God, I'm never going to get to the post office in time or the post office is already closed, but the polls are still open. Take your mail-in ballot, and not every state has this, but take your mail-in ballot and you can go into your polling place and say, I didn't get to the post office in time. Can I surrender this? Can I either drop it with you guys or can I surrender it and get a provisional ballot? Mm-hmm. And so sometimes they'll just take that mail in and you'll either dump it in a box, a ballot box, or they will give you a provisional ballot and you will go vote like you would normally behind the little curtain thing. Right. So the best thing to do now is research everything, make your decisions, figure out how you're going to do it. And one important thing is use blue or black ink. Do not use your cool Sanrio pink paint pen because that's not going to fly. And this is how you just have to be really careful and focused when you do your ballot because that's how they toss out things. And you may have read a little bit of a news article about a particular state that threw out 183,000 ballots because there were mistakes.
Yeah, so, that their signature was wrong or it was the wrong color ink. So make sure you do it correctly. And every state is a little bit different, so be sure to do your research. Okay, now that we've lectured and lectured,
Sorry, that was our harsh voices. No, we're happy voices.
Our special guest is on the stream, so we're going to... you may know him from Bob's Burgers, from Drunk History. He is Droege. Hi.
Hi, guys.
How's
it
are
going?
you? It's
I'm
great.
I'm so sorry. I was late, and thank you for vamping. I'm in Rhode Island right now, which is gorgeous, beautiful state.
Wonderful. It's not on fire. That's a start.
It's not on fire. It's perfect temperature. It's in the 70s. But we were at a restaurant and it was 8:15. 5:15 your time. And we were we should get going. And it's been a whole thing getting the check. And we were running down the street. trying to get here. So I'm sorry. Anyway, long story
You're
short,
like,
I'm
I
sorry.
have
It's taking me
tests to
forever to get
do.
here.
You could have just walked down the street with us because Honey Down.
Well, it's so we thought about it, but it's so dark. There's no street light. We're in the middle of nowhere, and there's no street light. So that we were like, I have to get home
It just would have
because
been a
there's just
black
no
screen.
lighting. Right,
It would have
exactly.
been really creepy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, so appreciated. Thanks for making it here.
Thanks for having me.
How are you? What brings you to Rhode Island?
I'm great. I'm doing a film with JP, with your friend Kim Chesser.
Yes. He and my partner went to college together.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so yeah, I'm just here. I mean, I'm very grateful to be working. We're doing I don't know how much of it I can talk about because wait, haven't. Oh, here we go. But it's a play that we're filming as a movie, just 4 actors, and so we're all quarantining in a house. So we're like figuring out how to make theater and film in this time of COVID. So it's everyone's being very, socially distant and masked, and we're doing the whole thing. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
but I'm seeing a part of that. I've never been up here. It's beautiful up here. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous part of the world. So,
Excellent.
yeah.
I mean, with this project, you're one of the people that has definitely stayed relatively busy during all of this. I mean, at least based upon what you've been putting out on the socials and what I've seen, like there's a bunch of projects going around for you. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's been, I will say when it all started, I was sitting on my couch. I was watching every old movie that I'd always meant to watch. I mean, I spent months watching I was doing that. I wasn't doing anything creative for a long time. And then, yeah, I've been lucky to get to do some Zoom shows and voiceover projects. And this is the first thing I've done that I've sort of left home for. But I also did my solo show that's going to be up at the end of September. It'll be up online. So I filmed that. And so it's been a nice, great, month of staying creative in the middle of all of, the insanity. It's a crazy time, it's like we're all kind of emotionally exhausted. I mean, we're all kind of like trying to do the best that we can, and we're, gonna get through this, but wow, it's been, not what we thought we were going to sign up for. You know what I mean? Like, a year ago, did any of us think we were going to be going through these hurdles? I mean, it's been rough.
I mean, I think the past few years, like everyone each year has sort of escalated a little bit in their worstness since maybe 2016. And so I don't think anybody expected this bad, but I don't think anybody would be surprised to be like, oh, 2020 is worse? Oh, sure.
Oh, right. Oh, sure. And I will say, because I am.
This is going to be my year, you guys, because it's just screwing everything up.
I mean, how many people said that at the beginning of this year, like 2020 is my year, and you're like, oh boy.
Yeah. Do I have news for you?
Yeah. 2020
I will say,
let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I am very hopeful. I'm very hopeful about November.
Calm down, because it felt like the last couple of years, all my friends, their personal stuff was crazy bad, and now it's just everybody's like, it was like, let's just do one bad for everybody. Like, forget.
Right. Oh, sure. Well, and that's what we have to remind ourselves, is that we're all in this together, because I mean, we're all dealing with different layers of our personal lives, and things are happening in our lives, good, bad, everything in between. But we're all a planet. We're going through trauma, and it's okay to have days where you just feel like, I can't get out of bed and everything's out to get me, and that's okay. Like, that's normal right now. Like, we're all in a very delicate place, and we're all really like, I don't know what's funny anymore. I don't know what's to me, like, I'm gonna find a place to plug in my phone, because that's also where we are in the world.
Mm-hmm.
We're also like, we are, as comedy people, as actors, as writers, as whatever, we live in the minutia. we love to like comment on the little things because that's what's funny and that's what's interesting. Right now, we live in such big moments and these big strokes where we're like, how can I complain about the little things? You know what I mean? We're like, I don't want to
Right.
complain about, but the little things are what make everything. It's hard. So I feel like everyone has to just give each other that time and that space to just be like, all right, some days I'm gonna be great, some days I'm gonna be terrible, and that's all okay. But I will say I am really hopeful about November. I feel like I know enough people in other parts of the country who are like, we're going to do this together. We're going to work through this. And I think it's like something that we just have to stay really like focused on and like really like hang in there with each other and just be like, we're all in this, like, we're like in this weird war together. We don't really know what we're fighting, but we've got to like fight with love. And we're on the right side of things. And we just have to just keep like pushing forward and like, we're going to be fine, but we have to just be like, be okay and be okay not being okay sometimes. You know what I mean? There are going to be some times that we're like, I'm not okay today. And that's okay too. Like, that's fine. Deal with that, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's funny because we are dealing with the massive and the mind because we're at our homes all the time. There is so much minutia. There's so many little like annoying things. Like I am having childlike temper tantrums so much that I'm giving the neighbors a run for their money. Like it's like, you want to throw a tantrum, kids? Ha! I'm next.
Oh my God. Right. I know.
Yeah, but working on NerdsVote with Courtenay, it's been very focusing for us, I think, because we do this twice a week. And just being able to converse with a whole bunch of different people around the country, even, and just talking about how everybody is.
To get some perspective.
Yeah.
And, having
Right.
something that anchors you, having some work is what's anchored me, not even, necessarily voice acting work, but just postcards and prepping for these shows and stuff like that. It's really important to find what's your sort of touchstone and, make sure that you keep it close.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And, and just remember what's important. Like, we're, because it's good to be busy and good to be like making things happen, but it's also just being like, it's taking the breath and being like, we're in a weird place. We're in a place that like our grandkids are going to go, wait, how did you do that? Like, what were you, we have to just remember that like it's not a thing that we've ever dealt with before. So it's okay to not know what to do next. It's okay to be like, I don't know how I'm handling this moment because this moment is new for literally everyone. I mean, except for like, I heard about a 106-year-old woman that lives in this town. I'm like, it's not new for her, but.
Sometimes I'm paraphrasing, but it was like, sometimes I don't want to get out of bed and make content or, do anything, but you never know, like 13-year-old Brittany might need this. So you just got to put on your eyebrows and get out there.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Yes.
I feel like too, like we are so worried about our content or whatever we put out there being good or being quality or being valid or, whatever. And it's a lot of times it's like, let it be rough, let it be kind of meh, let it be whatever, because that might speak to someone, and it's very human right now. We're all kind of in this, and so it's okay because you're making the effort to like reach out to someone and say, hey, like, what's up? Let's just be people together, because I feel like we went through a long period where we lost touch with that, and we were all so critical, and we were so focused on ourselves and not thinking about the world and what's going on. And right now, I think we're kind of going, all right, I'm going to kind of try to do a thing, and it's okay if it's not the best thing ever. It's like, it's fine. It's like we're all just trying to reach out to each other.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I think for a long time, we were very everybody was very fixated on production value. And, now it's more like, I love watching, like, if there's a video that is just like two people having a Zoom conversation or whatever, and it's good and it's funny, even if it's remotely funny, I'm like, yes. Or,
Oh,
when
totally.
I've watched some like random concert thing and it's just like somebody sitting on their back patio singing a nice song, I'm like, that's great. That's great. Yes. I don't need bells and whistles right now.
Right. And just reminds you of why you're in the human experience anyway. You're like, oh, great. You're having this lovely moment right now. And it doesn't have to be about like, and like what is good and what is, I don't know. It's all that bullshit that we were in before. So there is a lot of good that can come out of this. I really do think. I really do.
Yeah. For those of you out there, if you're just joining us, we are NerdsVote. We're a voter information organization specifically targeted at gamers, cosplayers, pop culture fans, and con-goers of all stripes. This is our show Between Two Nerds, and we have our very special guest, Droege, today. If you have questions for Drew, feel free to put them in that little question mark box at the bottom. We'll get to a few questions as we go.
I'm sorry for my profanity. One of us, someone
no,
just commented profanity.
Yeah, I think we've had a few people that have really like held back. So I think when we get somebody who sailors it a little bit, it's like, ah, it's all good. It's really,
Hi, welcome
really
to
totally
Salt
fine.
Breath. I'll tell you.
So Drew, you're originally from South Carolina.
Yeah, yes. I actually, that's technically true. I was born in South Carolina. I grew up in North Carolina.
Right.
But yeah, my family, most of them are in South Carolina now.
And what was your first voting experience in North Carolina, or were you elsewhere?
That's a great question. I guess it was in North Carolina. I voted in, I guess I would have been 18 in 95. So I started voting in North Carolina. And, I mean, it was never that important to me until the 2000s. I mean, until the Bush election in 2000. That was when I realized, because that was our first experience with like, oh, wait, they can cheat. Oh, wait, hanging chads. I mean, all that stuff. Like, I mean, that's when I realized how important it was. Because before that, I grew up in a very Republican house, and always voted Democrat. I mean, for the most part, but didn't understand how that really mattered until it was like later, in the whole process of things, and
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I vote every year. Every year, I mean, especially the last couple of years when you realize like how much power we have in just doing that, even when it's a small election, like doing the research. And even sometimes, I mean, I do this stupid thing of like going on Facebook and asking people like, hey, like, who do I vote for these judges? Who are these good, because
That
we
is
don't know.
not
And I have people that follow this even more, and I people that I trust, and and that's all part of it. It's like, just be informed, because local elections are so important. Yes, it's imperative. I mean, for the sake of planet Earth, that our current president gets removed on November 3rd. That's a given. But even more important, like, I mean, not even, whatever, just our local stuff. Just like knowing like who, paves the roads, who's in charge of, this and that. I mean, all that kind of stuff is good to sort of vote and be involved in, because, we don't realize how much power we have as citizens, and we have to do that.
Yeah, on the local level, there's so much impactful legislation and stuff that happens within our state, within our towns, within everything from education to the way. I mean, I know living in Glendale, there's a lot of stuff about energy production here that's always being discussed, and we have a very.
We live near a power plant.
Yeah, we live near a power plant, and it's always up for discussion. And there's a lot of people that feel very strong. I'm one of them, but like that have very strong feelings about how we receive our power, differing from the city of Los Angeles. So, yeah, and that's all like dinky little small town stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
But that, exactly. That dicky little small sound stuff is exactly like what builds and what, it's all connected. And I think that's the thing we have to learn, because I think we think, I don't make a difference. It doesn't matter. Especially when you're in California, you're like, it doesn't matter how I vote. Because like Biden's going to take California, but it's like the smaller stuff that's really important. And then it's also like when we can, you know, call the other states, we can call the battleground states, we can do that job of like getting on the phone and being like, hey, let's just remind you to vote. I mean, I will say one of the most like one of the best feelings I had was for Obama's second term, I volunteered at like a call center, and I went and I phone banked, and you call these people, and people hang up on you, they hate you for calling them, and I get it. I hang up on people that call me too. I totally get it. But of everybody that hung up on me, I remember there was one lady that I talked to, and I said, how are you planning on voting? And, and she was like, well, I would vote for Obama again, but I don't even know where I'm registered. I don't even know how to do it. I'm probably not going to be able to do it because I can't figure it out. And I had her voting information right in front of me because it was part of it. And I said, and I gave her the address. I was like, your polling booth is at blah, blah, blah. And she said, that's a block away from my house. How do you know that? And I go, I'm calling from the Democratic Party. You're registered to vote, blah, blah, blah. And she said, oh, I could go. That's so easy. Are you sure? I said, you're registered. I mean, I knew. And she said, thank you so much. I'll definitely do that. And so I knew that I got one vote, one person, not even one electoral college vote, one human being to vote for Obama the second time. And it felt amazing. It was like, oh my God, the power of just going like, yeah, just because she was just like, oh, well, that's so easy. I'll do that. And so, we have that ability just to reach out to each other and say, look, we can change things. And I think this moment more than ever is a time when, whether you're liberal, conservative, whatever, we all have to be collectively, just like galvanized and being like, no, we're taking back this country. Fuck you. You're done. Everyone in Washington, we all know what's up. And we need conservative people and liberal people. We need a balance. We need different opinions. We need all of that shit. We can't all think the same way. We need to say, hey, I disagree, but I respect you. We need that back in our world. And that's just going to take us all kind of reaching out to each other and saying, look, we can disagree about certain things, but overall, like, we care about this country. We care about this planet. We care about where the world is going, and we have this shot, and that's it. I mean, I really do think that. It's terrifying, and it's also exciting to think like, oh, we're riding on the edge of the world right now.
Well, it's about participation. What you're saying, I think what I'm hearing is that it's so important to, figure out, when you're talking about phone banking and stuff, figure out where your energy is best serving what you believe in, right? So no one will hang up on me because I will not call, but I will use the postcarding because you can't hang up on a postcard. And I also love this super cute postcard that I got because I feel like nobody.
Is that a dog? Is that a little? I can't see on the side of it. It's a
little Frenchie, yeah.
Oh, French bulldog.
See, a little Frenchie. Voting is your superpower. So if you get this, it's from me. But also, not just in doing what, putting forward your energy into things that you want. Like, if everybody participated on some level, no matter what party you're in or what you believe in, we would actually get stuff done, because there would be so many people coming together to create solutions that, like 50% of the country on any given, don't quote me on the exact number, but it's somewhere around 50% of people don't vote.
I think it's more than that. I think you're being generous.
Yeah.
We could change the world if everybody just got involved. Just a little bit. Just postcards.
Yeah. One of our regular viewers, Nanny Marie, is from Australia, and she, it's mandated to vote there. You have to. And so there's a lot of stuff that we talk about. She's like, what's wrong with you people? And we're like, I don't know.
You get fined in Australia. They don't play.
Yeah.
Those are my people.
Uh,
And it's
by the way,
yeah, the price of
I,
being free, the freedom of being free, where you're like, you don't really have to give a shit, but you're also like, what? Then how are you free anymore? Like, you know, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I wish we were mandated to vote because I really do feel like if everyone voted, I mean, we'd be fine if everyone had to vote, right?
you think? I mean, I think if everybody had to vote and everybody took their responsibility to vote seriously, like, yeah, I think so. But who's to say? As it is, we just want everybody to voluntarily decide that this is in as important as you were talking about. Like, we're regardless of what your politics are, we are at a very critical moment in our democracy. And that's kind of up and down the ballot, and we really need to mobilize everybody and, call your cousins and all the different corners of the world and of the country and get them out to vote.
Yeah,
Maybe
and be
we're
like, look, we're
places
gonna
she
just
used
we
to
gotta reset all of this
say
because we
mandated.
gotta.
Now she's kind of shocked at seeing what happens when there isn't a mandate, that people don't participate.
Yeah,
So it's
truly.
good to hear other places for sure.
Drew, a question that we always ask people, and we've talked a little bit about this, but we ask people, who are you voting for? And when we ask that, we're not asking like, I mean, we already know who you're voting for, but like, because you said so. Um, but what we're asking is when you're casting your ballot, what issues or people do you have in mind that you want your ballot to be able to benefit or affect?
You know, it's so funny because I fill out surveys and they're like, "What's important to you?" And I look at the list and I'm like, all of them are important to me, like education, and
D, all of
I'm
the
like,
above. Yeah.
honestly, I'm like, yes, I'm like, Black Lives Matter, LGBT rights, like I'm like every single factor. I'm like, oh, I click all of them. I'm like, none of them are not important to me, and it ultimately comes down to the human experience. To me, it's like we want to. You know, I just I feel like yeah, it I feel like there's one side that's like money, 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 and there's another side that's like people, humanity, and it's like I just yes, I love money. I love it when it comes in the mail. I love it when it comes in the through an email or through my Venmo. I love money. I love it. I'm not gonna deny a penny that's sent my way. But
Mm-hmm.
I always think about people. I'm just like, it's about people and like what's right for the world, for like, for human beings. And that's just always where I go to. And I guess that makes me a bleeding heart, but I'm just sort of like, yeah, that connects to education, that connects to, to by Indigenous people of color, that it connects to LGBTQ people, that connects to it's the human experience, and making us all like have a better world for our children, for environmental rights. I care about I care about all of that stuff, and yeah, that's usually where I'm always. That's where my heart is, because I guess I'm somebody that's never really had a lot of money, and I don't really care. Like, I mean, I can't really. It's like, again, I feel lucky when I'm able to take care of everything, but if I can't be alive, if someone if children are being put in cages, or if people that I love are being treated differently than me, or if I'm being treated differently or whatever, then who cares how much money you have in the. I mean, it's literally money versus people. It's that simple to me.
Yeah, absolutely. It really is. Um, for anybody just tuning in, let me use my words. We are NerdsVote. We're a voter registration information organization. This is our show Between Two Nerds, and our special guest today is Drew Droege. If you have questions for him, feel free to throw them in the question mark box down at the bottom. We will ask them as we go. Drew, you're a massive connoisseur of pop culture and old movies, and there's every time I have had a discussion with you, there is some new old thing that you bring up that I'm like, I didn't know Ann Jillian was in that, you know, like. So what I would love to know is in all of the things that you have watched, do you have a favorite fictitious politician?
Oh, that's such a good question. Um, Favorite fictitious politician. I do love Emma Thompson in Primary Colors, and I know she's vaguely
Oh,
fictitious. I mean, she is kind of Hillary, but I do love her in that.
I mean, I love
What
Emma
else? What
Thompson,
else?
so
I'm
sure.
trying to think of like. So I'm trying to look at people's suggestions. They're saying the mayor. I don't even know. But I don't know. I'm trying to think of like another. What are some like? I mean, there's like what are some famous fictitious politician movies?
Um,
The candidate.
The
Dave,
Candidate.
the American
Dave. I
president.
love Dave. Would you say Dave? Kevin
Uh-huh.
Kline.
Yeah,
Dave. I
yeah,
love Dave.
yeah. That's a
Um,
sweet movie. I love it
you know,
mostly for Sigourney Weaver, but I love almost everything
I
for
mean,
Sigourney Weaver.
anything Sigourney Weaver ever does. I
Right.
think so many of those movies, and American President also did it really well. It was like where they really just give you the ideal candidate. A movie, I mean, when a movie gives you a candidate that you just can't have in real life because they create this perfect, you know, person that you kind of go, oh my God,
Right.
if only they were our president. Um, but
My partner just finished a rewatch of The West Wing, and it's exactly that. It's just like,
Alice and Janney,
well,
like, come on. Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. And yes, like Annette Bening and an American president. Exactly. It's just like this perfect
yes.
person. You're like, oh my God, yes, that's exactly it. You know?
Hmm.
And I think in a way that's screwed us in a way because we watch these films, we watch these TV shows, and we expect that out of these real people. And we get these candidates who've been in this process for so long and they've devoted their lives and they're not perfect like that. They are flawed. They're going to say the wrong things. They're going to, I mean, like any of us would. And then I think we kind of go, well, and I think we have to be very careful to look at big picture, not cancel people for saying something or doing something, especially right now. I'm like, January 21st, I will welcome every criticism you have about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
Hmm.
Right now, they're my bitches. I don't want to hear any shit about them. I don't care. That's it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to hear like, oh, well, they were it's problematic and it's kind of complicated yeah, January 21st, that's where that conversation's valid and we can have that then. We got to get them in there. We got to like think one step at a time, and I think that that's the part of politics that we're not really taught is that like, these are people and that we don't have to love everything about everything they've ever said or done, but big picture, they're not going to. Yes, Katrina, people have a hard time with nuance. That's what she just said. Yes, exactly. Like, that we are, we have to be big picture and then we'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. I mean, we talk a lot about on this show about how we call and write to our representatives all the time. Representatives that we may very well have voted for and supported and like, but that doesn't mean that we can't hold them accountable and ask them to accomplish things.
Of
Like,
course.
that's the whole point.
Absolutely. They're working for us. And that's the thing is it's like we are, it's a living, breathing relationship. You can go, oh my God, I mean, I remember Obama's first term. I mean, we were so excited when Obama was our president. I've never been more excited the day that Barack Obama was first term, our president. And that first 4 years was tough. He was really towing the company line. He was doing a lot of stuff. And I know a lot of us were like, wait, what? We thought you were going to be way more radical. And there are a lot of reasons why he wasn't. And you have to realize that like, there are a lot of things at play and you're like, ultimately you can still be critical of someone. And I would never be like sad. I mean, at the most, like, I remember that. I mean, his second term, he was pretty amazing. He was pretty incredible his second term, but his first term, he had to really appease a lot of people and be pretty moderate. And I can be disappointed in that and also not think less of my choice in voting for him. I would never be sorry that I voted for that man. You know what I mean? It's like one of the most proud moments I have as a voter that I got to vote for him twice. You know, it's like, and yeah, it's like, you know, there are millions of us and we all have different sort of opinions and different things. We have to ultimately look at big picture versus tiny things and not pull people apart for our little things that we have against someone.
And also, I think, you know, we always have to take it into consideration. We had Eric Bauza on a couple of weeks ago, and he was saying, you know, every time we switch over, we have to kind of start, if we go from Democratic to Republican or back, then it's all about dismantling what the last administration did. And so there's a couple of things. It would be great to have more than two parties so that it wasn't so diametrically opposed. Also,
Right.
to keep in consideration both now and back with Obama, because I remember people being antsy in Obama's first term, and I was like, man, he's got a lot of stuff to do, and he's got a lot of like blanket stuff he has to take care of. And then it seemed like the second term he started with the nuanced stuff, with finding, you know, with honoring his promises for certain groups of people. I think it's important to think about that as well in this coming up election, because
which is terrifying
to
think that, Trump's just getting started. Specific. You know what I mean? If you look at it now,
yes,
and you're like, oh, so consider if Trump is a lame duck and he can do whatever the fuck he wants to do for the next 4 years, we're toast. I mean, like, if this is just him towing the company line his first term, oh, like that, I mean,
there's plenty of post-apocalyptic graphic novels and comic books that go into what that looks like.
And I'm sorry, I hate post-apocalyptic anything. I hate that stuff. I don't want to live in that world. Mm-hmm. I want to live in a pleasant world where we're all just like cool and we're all just kind of like, and we can like I like being annoyed by little things. I love being annoyed. I like being a bitch about little things. Let's bring it back so that we can be, so that we have like baseline, that we're not running for our lives or feeling like we're constantly every day dodging, you know,
huge
global disease and, you know, fires and everything else that we have going on in this world. Like, you know.
Well, Drew, for a couple minutes, let's create this safe bubble right here just for you. What is a bit of minutia that's been driving you up the wall?
I don't know. Like what? What do you mean? Like
is there anything that just annoyed you? Like, just, I don't know. Like, you bought your toothpaste and they changed the packaging and you hate it. I don't know.
Oh yeah. I mean, I do, you know, I have a thing where I'm very weird about language, and I get weird about when people I don't like when people say no problem when it wouldn't be a problem. I still have that thing. I don't like when, I mean, just in general, I want to be like, you know what I mean? Like when people go, hey, no problem. And you're like, there wouldn't have been a problem. Why did you say no problem? I also hate when people say, what's the other one I hate? Oh, when people say you're fine. That's also my pet peeve when I'm like, and again, like I'm like sort of out in the world for the first time in 6 months. Like I'm out in, you know, in Rhode Island doing this thing, and I'm out in the world, and people kind of go, and I walk in and you say, excuse me, and they go, you're fine. And I'm like, don't tell me I'm fine. I know I'm fine. Don't tell me how I am. You don't know I'm fine. So don't tell me I'm fine. Don't say you're fine.
Or don't say, when someone says, oh, excuse me, or pardon me to get past you, don't go, mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, mm-hmm.
Like pet peeve. I'm like,
that's so gross.
But like,
why wouldn't you just say, excuse me, too? Like, why wouldn't you just extend the courtesy and say, oh, excuse me. You don't.
I always want to turn around and be like, no, don't excuse me, I take it back.
Yeah, I had to learn to not apologize with my, like, if somebody says excuse me and I would be like, oh, sorry, I was just sitting there, I wasn't breaking the law, like, but I would
Right.
apologize, and it's
Right.
like I need to not do that.
Yeah, no, I know.
That's
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
going to too. Like, instead of saying I'm so sorry, because you're not sorry, and you shouldn't be sorry. Like, if you like, sorry is such a deep, to me, like, sorry is so much deeper than, like, if you're scuffing someone's shoe while you're passing them, you can say sorry, but also excuse me, or someone says excuse me. Like, excuse me is such a courteous thing, I think, to say, because it's just like, but being like, but going, ew, or like going, but I hate when people they go, you're fine, I'm fine. Don't tell me I'm fine. You're fine.
In any
A lot of it
context.
is assigning it to me. Even if someone says it's fine, I go, oh, okay. I don't take it nearly as personally when they go, you're fine. It's like a weird, like, dismissive, like, I run the world. I'm in charge of the universe, and you're fine. So,
I mean, I when you first said it, the way that I was thinking of it is like when like a kid falls down and he's about to melt down, and the parent says, "You're fine," to like get them in the habit of just being able to internalize and not deal with their feelings.
That's great. That's when you say it. That's when you tell a child, "No, you're fine," because the world's not blowing up right now. No, you're fine. That's exactly. But that's it, JP, because it's like a stranger is immediately a parent to you. A stranger is immediately telling you, they're making you a child. They're infantilizing you, and they're saying, you're fine. You're not my mom. You're not my dad. You don't tell me I'm fine.
Please say that next time somebody says that. Just if they say you're fine, just be like, you're not my mom. Okay?
Yeah. And you're really like, you know what? Have you checked the world? I'm maybe not fine. I'm good.
I think that's the moment where you just launch into a monologue of being like, you know what, I'm actually not fine right now, and here's the 11 reasons why.
There's a couple things. I don't know if you've checked 538, but
I wanted to talk to you. I've been looking at you for quite some time.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. So I'm sorry, I got totally thrown off track for a second, just thinking of all the things. So Drew, your solo show. Which one? Your solo show. Which one is the one you taped, and where can we see it?
It will be on Broadway HD on September 24th. I believe that's the date. It's called Happy Birthday, Doug, and it's me. I'm playing multiple characters, and it's going to be. We filmed it, and it's going to be. It's going to be on BroadwayHD.com at the end of the month. Yeah, and then this thing that I'm doing now, I would imagine in a few months. I don't know. We start rehearsals tomorrow.
Who knows what production time is anymore?
We're shooting it in 3 weeks, and then we're gonna have it up. So, yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah.
So the way that we typically sign off our show is we ask our guests to tell our audience to get out and vote in whatever way they choose, whether sometimes it's in a character voice, sometimes they sing, sometimes they just have their own personal rant, whatever feels a la Drew Droege to you. If you would, tell the children to vote.
Well, I mean, I feel like this is the time for me to channel my internet alter ego, Miss Chloe Sevigny, and tell this audience and just say to them, good evening, America. I'm Chloe Sevigny. It's recently come to my attention that 'tis the season for election. Please vote Biden-Harris and Democratic down the ticket. Good evening.
Ticket, because sure. Brilliant. Drew, it was just always so lovely to see you.
Thank you for having me. This was so fun. I love talking to you guys.
Absolutely.
You guys, please, we got this. Let's just stay strong. Let's get our sleep. Let's take care of each other. Let's be kind. Let's just remember, we're a country again. You know what I mean? Let's just get this. We got to get this.
Yep.
We have 2 months left in this country.
8 weeks. 8 weeks, children.
Yeah.
8 weeks today.
That's it.
Yeah. Get your postcards.
Yeah.
We'll actually have Courtenay post where you can get postcards.
Oh,
that
great.
Look,
Oh, yeah. I've
that
seen
look
several
cute
people
like
saying
hers. Yeah, we don't benefit from them, but we love them anyway.
Love them.
Yeah.
Great.
All right. Thanks so much, hon. And thanks for joining us.
Great. Thank you guys both.
Yep.
Thank you. Mwah.
Bye,
Talk
all.
soon. Bye.
He's a delight. Thanks everybody for joining us. We have an amazing guest this Thursday at 2 o'clock Pacific. It is Courtenay. Why can't I hear you?
Oh, because I muted myself.
There goes the drum roll. Who was it?
AJ Lacuzio.
There it is. He's an amazing voiceover actor, on-camera actor. He is hilarious and sweet and fantastic, and we cannot wait to have him. So we'll see you at 2. Make sure you fill out your census and register for that absentee ballot. Yeah, and be a poll worker as well.
I'm going to be a poll worker. Join me at powerthepolls.org. You can sign up, and I will post the girl on Etsy who does these adorably cute postcards, so you can have them. I'll put it in the NerdsVote post thing on Instagram.
Sweet. All right, everybody. See you Thursday.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Love you.